Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to congratulate everyone on the auspicious occasion on the wiladat of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wa salam, a voice that will reach Karbala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I wake up in my grave, panicking, vanishing skies fill the pupils of my eye. Cries are heard, ties sever, scattering like flies. I see souls escaping what they call lies. It lies in their faces. The day of judgment, the most awaited, and I'm facing, surprisingly, I'm facing the most beautiful face. Unaware of this race, my grave hands me over to him. He hugs me with his wings, I don't even know what brought me to him. Says, you've cried for Hussein, so don't you worry about these souls going insane. The gates of heaven are now open, and when we make promises, we make sure they're not broken. We saw you sin, we saw you lie, we saw you backbite till your heart sufficed. Are you surprised we gave you 1,000 hajj for the price of a tear shed the size of the wing of a mosquito? What were you thinking? Do you realize every time you said Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, he turned impatient. He saw you weeping, it doesn't matter, min qareebin or ba'idin, as number 6 puts it, you still get the thawab that you're seeking. No arba'een is needed for me to start speaking to Hussein. They told me to live like Ali and die like Hussein. Can you explain, how do I die like someone who keeps living through each day?
You ask who is Hussein? Hussein is not confined to roses, water bottles and banners on buses. Go people, discuss this. Hussein is just Hussein and not merely justice. Hussein is much more, not confined to this majlis. They say Karbala is just history, but surely they are blind. When else have angels come down to earth from the skies? When thousands of malaik by God have been assigned to just visit Hussein and cry at his shrine. And if you notice in our books, the scholars respect poetry, because Karbala is not just a mark in history. Our imams invited poets rather than historians, because authenticity does not define what history is. So all of you internet scholars, take a minute and understand that true knowledge requires more than just typing with your hands. Our ulama have dedicated their lives to Islam. So who are you to criticize and point out where they are wrong? They study history in depth and the traditions that survive. But when the name of Hussein is uttered, they can't help but to cry.
I ask why is he confined to calligraphy on shirts? Why only think of him when we think of thirst? But first look at the little things in life, like talking to your sister or your beloved wife. We try to control cause we are men, but the truth is women taught us to be like real men. Zainab, the name is heard, but we don't hesitate with our words when we leave our mothers hurt. Imam Hussain was so gentle and humble with his children, but kids nowadays are just psychological victims. They only obey you because they fear that you'll hit them. And when it comes to racism, go look at the freed slave John. The land of Karbala emanates his fragrance now. They say he wasn't the best looking man out there, but if he used deeds to judge others, we'd be embarrassed to call each other brothers.
So before you utter the name of Hussein and narrate his tragedy, just know that he is more than just a revolutionary. Just know that Karbala should not be limited to our centers. The heroes of Karbala should be our life-lasting mentors. Hussein is the light in the midst of the darkness. Hussein is the love that inspires the heartless. Hussein is reflective of Muhammad's Hussein is reflective of Muhammad's reflection. Without tears, Hussein's name should not be mentioned. Without tears, Hussein's name should not be mentioned. For the tears that are shed are the gateway to heaven. And on the day that I die, when in the grave I'm mentioned, and on the day that I die, when in the grave I'm questioned, I will say the name of Hussein as a source of repentance. For Hussein is just Hussein, the pinnacle of perfection. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.